Well, welcome back everybody. Dan here for another video. Thanks so much for joining in. So today I'm going to give you my reasoning behind why I think even after all these years, iRacing is still the gold standard when it comes to online racing, and why I think that there's a reason why many games have tried to imitate their systems that they have in place, while never, in my opinion, really being able to pull it off like they can. Before I get into this, though, I do have to give my customary disclaimer, as always, that this could potentially be controversial in the sim racing space. So, as always, just because I have an opinion doesn't mean it's correct, and I invite all of you to go down in the comments below and let us know your opinion on this. So let's get into the video. So why do I actually think that even after all this time, iRacing is still the gold standard when it comes to online racing? Well, as many of the world, I think right now, has been playing a lot of Forza, and even though it has some bugs, or it's had quite a bit of bugs to start with, generally across the board, I believe the overall opinion on the online portion of the game is it's been very positive. This has been my opinion too. I've had some occasional crashy lobbies, but for the most part, I've been having some fun. But they're trying to implement a system in that game that is very similar to iRacing's, but in my opinion, it is not working nearly the way they would hope it would. So what that made me want to do is that made me want to go back and actually hop onto iRacing, which I hadn't driven in a long time, years actually, and just compare the two. And so what I ended up doing was I renewed my subscription and then hopped into a few races to get myself back accustomed to the way the game works and the way the cars drive. And immediately, within the first or second race, I remembered why iRacing is so popular, and more specifically the reasoning behind this video. I realized and remembered right away why iRacing is the gold standard. So I've jotted down a couple reasons here that make me feel this way, and again, I invite you to chat about this in the comments below, but let's go right into my reasons here. The first one is kind of, I've already touched on it, it's the safety rating and the driver rating system. So there's a safety rating and an I rating, which is basically your performance level in the game. And it's not the specific fact that they have them, like I said, a lot of games have tried to imitate this, but it's the fact that they actually implement them properly and use them so that the end user gets a better experience. It's one thing if you have a rating system that's going to adjust who you race with on paper, but if you're not implementing and using that server, it means nothing. iRacing has always been very calculated in the way they use these numbers and put you in the correct lobbies with the correct people to get you driving with similar skilled level people and also similar driving style people. So for example, if you're the kind of person, for whatever reason, that likes to drive in what I call crashy lobbies, if you do that enough in iRacing, you're going to end up only in those kind of lobbies. Likewise, on the other side of that spectrum, if you drive cleanly over and over, you are going to, for the most part, end up in lobbies that are filled with clean driving people, which is what I prefer. I think what most people prefer. The next thing that makes me feel this way kind of bridges right off of those rating systems, and that's that there's actually consequences for not following the rules. So, for example, as I said before, if you drive like an idiot, you're going to end up only in lobbies with other idiots. If you like that, that's great, but I don't. So the fact that when I drive clean, it sticks me in good lobbies 99% of the time is huge for me, and I'm sure that's the same way with other people. The consequences, though, don't stop there. They go even further. If you're somebody that gets reported multiple times, they will cut you out of the game. No questions asked. The email that you use and also the IP address of your computer will get banned from the server, and you will never be able to be back on it. A lot of people find that controversial. I actually love it. It means that you have some real-world consequences for acting like a fool. Next thing I want to talk about, and this is very controversial, but it's just the cost of entry of the game. iRacing, we all know that it's one of the most expensive games you can play. It has a high subscription monthly fee, or you can pay yearly, but generally speaking, it costs more money the longer that you play it. Not to mention also, just to get much of the content that is popular on the server, you have to buy that content, so the tracks and the cars. So all these things add up to a very high price tag, which many people think is bad. But I am actually okay with it because I feel like that cost of entry being high is what gets a lot of people off of the server or never coming to the server to begin with. That would just hop into something like a Forza lobby and bump people out of the way. So the cost of entry doesn't bother me. And the last thing that I think a lot of people don't really think about, but this really whacked me right in the face when I played Forza Online, how bad it was, is the fact that on iRacing, all of the online series are very well balanced. In other words, the series that you're playing only allows cars that are in that series. Unless, of course, you're doing a multi-series class, which, then it splits it up between various series, and that's fun too. But even still, it's very balanced. What that does is that keeps silly things from happening that cause issues. Like, for example, the Forza GT series that they have right now also allows some other cars that should not be part of a GT series, and it just doesn't make any sense. And if you've played, you probably know what I'm talking about. It also allows opportunities for people to break the game and make certain cars much faster than the rest of the cars in the class, because technically they're not in the same class and they can be modified different ways than the car you're driving, or vice versa. So with all that said, guys, this is why I think, and I think that it'll always be this case, I don't see a game coming up anytime soon that's going to push them off of that podium. iRacing, while a lot of people have positive and negative things to say about it, there's really no denying that it is, in fact, the gold standard when it comes to online racing. So that's going to be it for this one, guys. As always, please let me know what you think in the comments. Let's get a discussion going. And if you are not subscribed, please click that subscribe button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. And also, if you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. That's going to be it, guys. I will see you guys later, and we'll talk to you in the next video.